Dr. Maya Rodriguez had always been different from other kids. While her friends played video games or watched cartoons, she would spend hours staring at the night sky, feeling like something was calling to her from the stars. Her parents thought it was just a phase, but Maya knew it was something more. Now at 32, Maya worked at one of the world's most advanced space research centers in Puerto Rico. Every day she listened to radio signals from deep space, hoping to find proof that we weren't alone in the universe. Her colleagues respected her work, but they didn't know about her secret. Since childhood, Maya had been having the same dream over and over again. In these dreams, she would find herself standing in a beautiful garden filled with flowers that glowed like tiny stars. The air shimmered with colors she had never seen before. And there, walking toward her through the starlight, was the most amazing being she had ever imagined. This figure looked almost human, but seemed to be made of liquid moonlight. Her skin sparkled like diamonds, and her eyes held the depth of entire galaxies. Every time this mysterious being would reach out to Maya and say the same words. "I'm looking for you, my chosen one. Please find me." Then Maya would wake up, her heart pounding with a strange mixture of longing and confusion. Maya never told anyone about these dreams. How could she? She was a scientist, someone who dealt with facts and evidence. Dreams about glowing aliens would make her colleagues think she had lost her mind. But deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that these weren't just dreams. They felt too real, too vivid, too consistent. At work, Maya spent her days monitoring radio telescopes that pointed toward distant stars. The giant dishes collected signals from across the galaxy, and her job was to analyze them for anything unusual. Most of the time, it was just background noise from space, the random static of the universe. But Maya never gave up hope that one day she might hear something different. Her research partner, Dr. Alex Thompson, was a good friend but a complete skeptic. He believed that if aliens existed, they were probably too far away to ever contact us. "The universe is huge, Maya," he would often say. "Even if there are other civilizations out there, the chances of them finding us are basically zero." Maya would just smile and continue her work. She had learned not to argue with Alex about this topic. He was a brilliant scientist, but he didn't understand the pull she felt toward the stars. He didn't have dreams that felt more real than waking life. The research facility was located on a hilltop surrounded by lush tropical forest. During the day, it bustled with activity as dozens of scientists and technicians worked on various projects. But at night, especially during Maya's solo shifts, the place became quiet and peaceful. She actually preferred working alone during these late hours. The silence helped her focus, and somehow she felt more connected to the cosmos when the rest of the world was asleep. On this particular Tuesday night in October, Maya was running routine scans of a section of space near the constellation Lyra. She had checked this area hundreds of times before, but tonight felt different. As she adjusted the equipment and fine-tuned the receivers, she couldn't shake a strange feeling of anticipation, as if something important was about to happen. Around midnight, as she was reviewing data from the evening's observations, something caught her attention. Buried in the usual cosmic static was a pattern she had never seen before. It wasn't random noise. It was structured, organized, almost like a message. Maya's heart began to race. She ran the signal through various filters and analysis programs, but the pattern remained consistent. More shocking still, the frequency of this signal matched exactly the mysterious humming sound she always heard in her dreams, right before the glowing being would appear. She sat back in her chair, staring at the computer screen in disbelief. This couldn't be a coincidence. After 20 years of having the same dream and 15 years of searching space for signs of life, she had finally found something that connected both worlds. According to protocol, Maya should have immediately called Alex and the rest of the team. Any unusual signal needed to be verified by multiple scientists before it could be considered legitimate. But something held her back. This felt personal, like a message meant specifically for her. Maya made a decision that would change her life, forever. Instead of following procedure, she decided to investigate the signal on her own. She spent the next 3 hours tracking its source, using the most sensitive equipment the facility had. The signal was coming from a region of space about 50 light-years away, but it was getting stronger, as if whatever was sending it was getting closer. As dawn approached, Maya finally allowed herself to consider the impossible possibility that her dreams might have been more than just her imagination. Maybe somehow someone had been trying to reach her across the vast emptiness of space. Maybe her whole life had been leading to this moment. She saved all her data on a personal drive and cleared the computer's memory. Tomorrow she would return with fresh eyes and decide what to do next. But as she walked to her car in the early morning light, Maya felt a mixture of excitement and fear, unlike anything she had ever experienced. The stars were fading as the sun rose over the Puerto Rican hills, but Maya knew that somewhere out there, someone was looking for her. And after a lifetime of feeling like she didn't quite belong on Earth, she was finally ready to find out why. 3 weeks had passed since Maya first detected the mysterious signal, and her life had become a careful balance of normal work duties and secret investigation. Every night she would stay late at the facility, telling Alex she was working on a personal research project. He didn't ask too many questions, probably thinking she was just being her usual dedicated self, but Maya was far from her usual self. The signal had grown stronger each night, and her dreams had become more vivid than ever. The glowing being in her dreams now seemed almost real enough to touch. She would reach out in her sleep, trying to bridge the gap between dream and reality, only to wake up with tears streaming down her face. On this particular Friday evening, Maya was alone at the research center as usual. The tropical night was unusually quiet, with no wind rustling through the trees surrounding the facility. Even the usual chorus of tree frogs seemed muted, as if nature itself was holding its breath. Maya had been tracking the signal for hours, when something extraordinary happened. Instead of the usual steady pattern, the signal began to pulse in a rhythm that felt familiar. It was like a heartbeat, slow and strong, and somehow Maya knew it was meant for her. Her hands trembled as she adjusted the equipment, trying to get a clearer reading. Then, without warning, every piece of electronic equipment in the building began to hum softly. The lights flickered, not in a threatening way, but almost gently, like candles swaying in a breeze. Maya felt a strange warmth spread through her chest, the same feeling she got in her dreams right before meeting the mysterious being. She walked outside, drawn by an impulse she couldn't explain. The night sky looked different somehow, more alive than she had ever seen it. Stars seemed brighter, and she could swear she saw colors moving between them like slow lightning. That's when she saw it. A soft light appeared above the tree line, growing brighter as it came closer. It wasn't like any aircraft Maya had ever seen. There were no engines, no noise, just a gentle glow that seemed to pulse with the same rhythm as her heartbeat. The craft was beautiful, shaped like a teardrop made of liquid silver, and it moved with a grace that took her breath away. Maya should have been terrified. She should have run back inside and called for help. Instead, she felt the most profound sense of coming home that she had ever experienced. This was what her dreams had been preparing her for her entire life. The craft settled silently in the clearing behind the research facility, and Maya found herself walking toward it without any fear. Each step felt right, as if she was following a path she had walked 1,000 times before. A doorway appeared in the smooth surface of the ship, opening like a flower blooming in fast motion. Warm, golden light spilled out, and Maya could smell something wonderful, like jasmine mixed with ocean air and something else she couldn't identify, but that made her feel incredibly peaceful. She stepped inside, and the door closed behind her with a sound like a gentle sigh. The interior of the craft was unlike anything Maya could have imagined. The walls seemed to be made of the same flowing light she had seen outside, constantly, shifting between colors that had no names. The floor felt solid but somehow soft, like walking on clouds. Everything was curved and organic, as if the ship had grown rather than been built. And there, waiting for her in the center of the room, was the being from her dreams. She was even more beautiful in person than Maya had imagined possible. Her skin seemed to be made of starlight itself, shifting between silver and pale blue with tiny sparkles that moved like living galaxies. She was tall and graceful, with long hair that floated around her head as if she was underwater. Her eyes were the most incredible part, deep and dark, like looking into the heart of space itself, but filled with warmth and infinite kindness. When she spoke, her voice was like music played on instruments Maya had never heard. "At last," she said, and Maya felt the words resonate in her chest like a bell being struck. "I've found you, my human." Maya tried to speak but found she had no words. This moment was beyond language, beyond anything her scientific training had prepared her for. The being stepped closer, and Maya could feel waves of love and recognition flowing from her, as if they were old friends meeting after a long separation. "You have so many questions," the being said, smiling with genuine joy. "And I have waited so long to answer them. My name is Lyralay, and I am what your people might call a queen, though we don't think of leadership the way you do. I have been searching for you across time and space, following the connection that links our souls." Maya finally found her voice, though it came out as barely a whisper. "I've been dreaming about you my whole life. I thought I was going crazy." Lyralay's laugh was like silver bells ringing. "Not crazy, dear one. Awakening. You are special, Maya. Rodriguez. Your spirit calls to mine across the void between worlds. You carry within you something precious, something that makes you unique among all humans." As if in a trance, Maya allowed Lyralay to take her hands. The moment their skin touched, Maya felt a shock of recognition so powerful it nearly knocked her over. Images flashed through her mind, memories that weren't her own but somehow belonged to her. She saw herself as a child, but not on Earth. She saw stars being born and civilizations rising and falling. She saw Lyralay searching through galaxy after galaxy, following a trail only she could sense. "What's happening to me?" Maya asked, her voice shaking. "You're remembering," Lyralay said softly. "Remembering who you really are and why I've spent lifetimes looking for you." Maya spent the next hour inside Lyralay's ship, and it felt like living in a dream that was more real than her waking life had ever been. The alien queen showed her wonders beyond imagination, but more importantly, she began to explain the truth about Maya's past and her purpose on Earth. "Sit with me," Lyralay said, gesturing to what looked like chairs made of crystallized light. As Maya settled into the surprisingly comfortable seat, images began to appear in the air around them, like watching a movie projected by magic. Long ago, my people discovered that the universe was not meant to be lonely, Lyralay began. "We found that consciousness, that spark of awareness that makes beings truly alive, works best when different types of minds can connect and share their unique perspectives." Maya watched in amazement as the images showed beautiful worlds filled with different kinds of beings, all living together in harmony. Some looked almost human, others were completely unlike anything she had ever imagined, but all seemed to radiate the same peaceful energy she felt from Lyralay. "My civilization, the ethereal collective, has been exploring the galaxy for thousands of your years," Lyralay continued. "We don't conquer or take resources like some species do. Instead, we look for worlds where intelligent life is developing, and we try to help guide that development in positive directions. The images changed to show Earth as it was long ago, when early humans were just beginning to build their first cities. Maya saw figures that looked like Lyrelai walking among ancient peoples, teaching them about agriculture, astronomy, and healing. "Wait," Maya said, her scientific mind struggling to process this information. "Are you saying that aliens helped humans develop civilization?" Lyrelai nodded gently. "Not forced development, but gentle guidance. We shared knowledge with those who were ready to receive it. But we did something else as well, something very special with a few chosen individuals." The images now showed what looked like a laboratory, but one made of flowing energy and crystal rather than metal and glass. Maya watched as beings like Lyrelai worked with something that looked like strands of light. "We enhanced certain humans with a small part of our essence," Lyrelai explained, "not to change them, but to create bridges between our peoples. These enhanced humans and their descendants would carry within them the ability to communicate with us directly, mind to mind and heart to heart." Maya felt her heart racing as she began to understand. "You're talking about genetic modification. You changed human DNA." "In the most gentle way possible," Lyrelai assured her. "We only added abilities, never took anything away. These special humans lived normal lives, had families, and passed their gifts to their children. Most never even knew they were different. They just felt more connected to the stars, more aware of the bigger picture of life in the universe." The images showed Maya a progression through history of humans who seemed to glow with the same inner light she had always felt, but never understood. Some became great scientists, others were artists or philosophers, but all shared a common trait of looking beyond the ordinary world to see deeper truths. These bridge humans, as we call them, were scattered across your world and through time, Lyrelai said. Some helped their societies advance in science and wisdom. Others simply lived good lives and passed their gifts to the next generation. And a very few very special ones were meant for something more. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Something more? Lyrelai's expression became more serious, though still filled with love. Every few generations, one of these bridge humans is born with a particularly strong connection to our realm. They are the ones we call chosen bridges. They can not only communicate with us, but can actually help facilitate contact between our civilizations when the time is right. The images around them shifted to show Maya's own life, from childhood to the present moment. She watched herself staring at the stars as a little girl, studying science in college and working at the research facility. But now she could see something else in these memories, a golden thread of light that connected her to something far beyond Earth. "You are a chosen bridge, Maya," Lyrelai said softly. "I have been searching for you since the day you were born. Every dream you've had, every moment you felt called to look at the stars, every instinct that led you to become a scientist studying space, all of it was the connection between us growing stronger." Maya felt overwhelmed by the magnitude of what she was learning. "But why now? Why are you revealing all this to me at this moment in history?" Lyrelai's expression grew sad, and the images around them changed to show dark ships moving through space like a plague of locusts. "Because Earth is about to face its greatest challenge, and humanity will need all the help it can get." Maya watched in horror as the dark ships approached solar systems and left them lifeless. "What are those things?" "The Void Collective," Lyrelai said, her voice heavy with centuries of grief. "They are everything we are not. Where we seek to nurture and connect, they consume and destroy. They have been moving through this section of the galaxy for decades, and their scouts have already detected Earth." The images showed Maya's own solar system, with the dark ships approaching from the outer edges. "They're coming here?" "Their main fleet will arrive within your planet's next seasonal cycle," Lyrelei confirmed. They see Earth as a prize because humans have developed such remarkable diversity of thought and creativity. They want to harvest that uniqueness for themselves. Maya felt sick to her stomach. How many ships are we talking about? Thousands, Lyrelei said simply. Far more than your world's current technology could hope to resist. Maya slumped in her chair, feeling the weight of hopelessness. Then why are you telling me this? What can one person possibly do against an invasion fleet? Lyrelei knelt beside Maya's chair and took her hands again. When their skin touched, Maya felt a surge of strength and determination that wasn't entirely her own. Because you are not just one person, Lyrelei said. You are a bridge between worlds, and bridges can carry more than just messages. With your help, my people can offer humanity something we have never offered before: direct protection and alliance. Maya looked into Lyrelei's star-filled eyes and saw not just hope, but absolute certainty. You want to form an alliance with Earth. The Ethereal Collective has laws about interfering in the natural development of younger civilizations, Lyrelei explained. We can guide and teach, but we cannot fight battles for others. However, if a world formally requests our aid through a proper bridge connection, then we can act as allies rather than protectors. Maya felt the pieces falling into place. And I'm supposed to be that bridge connection. If you choose to be, Lyrelei said, the choice must be freely made, with full understanding of what it means. Becoming an active bridge between our peoples will change you in ways you cannot imagine. You will gain abilities that will set you apart from other humans forever. You will see the universe as we see it, feel the connections between all living things, and carry the responsibility of speaking for your entire species. Maya stood up and walked to what looked like a window, though she suspected it was something more advanced than glass. Outside, she could see the Earth turning slowly in space, looking so small and fragile and beautiful. How long do I have to decide? She asked. The choice must be made before the next full moon, Lyrelei said. After that, even with our help, it may be too late to mount an effective defense. Maya turned back to face the alien queen who had searched across galaxies to find her. And if I say no? Lyrelei's expression was filled with understanding rather than disappointment. Then you return to your life, and I return to mine. No judgment, no consequences. The gift of choice is the most sacred thing in the universe. But as Maya looked into those ancient, wise eyes, she already knew what her answer would be. Maya didn't sleep for 3 days after her encounter with Lyrelei. She went through the motions of her normal life, arriving at work on time, analyzing data with Alex, and pretending everything was normal. But inside, her mind was racing with the weight of the choice she had to make. Every time she looked at her colleagues, she wondered if she was seeing them for the last time as the person they knew. Every time she stepped outside and saw people going about their daily lives, completely unaware of the danger approaching from space, she felt the enormous responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. On the 4th night, Maya made her decision. She couldn't live with herself if she didn't at least try to save humanity, even if it meant giving up her normal life forever. She returned to the clearing behind the research facility, and just as before, Lyrelei's ship appeared as if it had been waiting for her. I know what you've decided, Lyrelei said with a gentle smile as Maya stepped aboard. I can feel your determination from here. What exactly happens to me? Maya asked. I need to understand what I'm agreeing to. Lyrelei led her to a chamber filled with what looked like liquid starlight flowing in patterns around the walls. The transformation will enhance your natural bridge abilities to their fullest potential. You will be able to communicate instantly with any member of the Ethereal Collective across any distance. You will see energy patterns that connect all living things. Your mind will expand to process information in ways human brains normally cannot. Maya nodded, trying to appear braver than she felt. And the downside? You will never again be fully human in the way you understand it now, Lyrelay said honestly. The enhanced perception will make it difficult to relate to people who cannot see what you see. You will carry knowledge that will sometimes feel like a burden, and once the transformation is complete, it cannot be undone. Maya took a deep breath. How long do we have before the Void Collective arrives? Their scout ships are already in your outer solar system, Lyrelay replied, and images appeared showing dark vessels lurking near Pluto. The main fleet will arrive in approximately 30 of your days. Then we better get started, Maya said. The transformation process was unlike anything Maya could have imagined. She lay on what felt like a bed made of warm light, while Lyrelay placed her hands on Maya's forehead. Energy flowed between them, and Maya felt her consciousness expanding like a flower blooming in fast motion. At first, it was overwhelming. She could suddenly sense every living thing for miles around. The researchers sleeping in the facility, the nocturnal animals in the forest, even the bacteria in the soil. Each life form had its own unique energy signature, and they were all connected by threads of light that pulsed with shared existence. Then her awareness expanded further. She could feel Lyrelay's people scattered across the galaxy, all of them, linked by the same network of consciousness. She understood now why they called themselves the Ethereal Collective. They were truly collective, sharing thoughts and emotions across impossible distances. But the most shocking moment came when Maya realized she could suddenly sense other humans on Earth who carried the bridge genetic modifications. There were more than she had expected, scattered across every continent. Most were unaware of their special nature, but a few were beginning to awaken to their abilities. The transformation is complete, Lyrelay said, helping Maya sit up. How do you feel? Maya looked at her hands and saw tiny threads of light connecting her to everything around her. When she focused on Lyrelay, she could feel the alien queen's thoughts as clearly as her own. Different, more connected to everything, but also more alone than I've ever been. That feeling will pass, Lyrelay assured her. Now we must act quickly. The Void Collective's advanced scouts will detect my presence here soon, and we need to be ready for them. Over the next week, Maya experienced the strangest period of her life. During the day, she worked at the research facility as usual, but now she could sense the cosmic energy flowing through all the equipment. At night, she met with Lyrelay to learn how to use her new abilities. The most important skill was something Lyrelay called quantum communication. Maya learned to send messages instantly across space by tapping into the network of consciousness that connected all enhanced beings. Through this network, she contacted the leaders of the Ethereal Collective and formally requested an alliance on behalf of humanity. The response came faster than she expected. The Ethereal Collective agreed to help defend Earth, but only if humanity could prove it was ready for such an alliance. Maya would need to demonstrate that she could act as a true bridge between the two civilizations. The test came sooner than anyone expected. Alex noticed that Maya was acting strangely and confronted her one evening as she was preparing to leave for another meeting with Lyrelay. "You've been different for weeks," he said, blocking her path to the door. "You're distant, distracted, and yesterday I could have sworn I saw you talking to empty air. What's going on, Maya?" Maya felt her heart sink. This was the moment she had been dreading, having to choose between protecting her secret and protecting her friendship. But as she looked at Alex, she realized there might be a third option. Using her enhanced perception, Maya examined Alex's energy pattern more closely. To her amazement, she detected the faint signature of bridge genetics. Alex was one of the enhanced humans, though his abilities had never awakened. "Alex," she said carefully, "I need you to promise me you'll listen to what I'm about to tell, you with an open mind." For the next hour, Maya explained everything. The dreams, the signal, her meetings with Lyrelay, and the approaching invasion. Alex listened with growing amazement and disbelief, but Maya could sense through their genetic connection that part of him recognized the truth in her words. "This is insane," Alex said when she finished. "But somehow, I believe you. I've been having strange dreams lately, too. Dreams about space and stars calling to me." Maya felt a surge of hope. "Your bridge abilities are starting to awaken. Lyrelay says that happens when the genetic modifications are exposed to someone who is already fully enhanced." That night, Maya brought Alex to meet Lyrelay. The alien queen was delighted to discover another potential bridge, and she immediately began the process of awakening Alex's dormant abilities. Having a second bridge would greatly strengthen the connection between Earth and the ethereal collective. But their preparations were interrupted by urgent news. Lyrelay's ship detected incoming signals from the Void Collective scouts. The Dark. Ships had moved past Pluto and were now approaching Jupiter. Worse, they had sent a message ahead to their main fleet, accelerating the timeline for invasion. "How long do we have now?" Maya asked. Lyrelay's expression was grim. 7 days, perhaps 8 at most. Maya felt panic rising in her chest. "That's not enough time. We're not ready." "Then we must hope that the connection between our peoples is strong enough to bridge the gap," Lyrelay said. "Tomorrow, I will contact my fleet and give them the coordinates for Earth. The ethereal collective will take a stand here, regardless of the consequences." As Maya looked out at the stars that night, she wondered if she had made the right choice. In trying to save humanity, she might have doomed both civilizations to destruction. But there was no turning back now. The final test was coming, and everything would depend on her ability to truly bridge two worlds that had never been more different or more in need of each other. The final confrontation came exactly 7 days later, just as Lyrelay had predicted. Maya stood on the observation deck of the ethereal collective's flagship, watching through the transparent walls as hundreds of beautiful crystalline ships positioned themselves between Earth and the approaching darkness. The Void Collective fleet was terrifying to behold. Their ships looked like they were made from concentrated shadow, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. They moved in perfect formation, like a swarm of mechanical locusts ready to consume everything in their path. Maya counted at least 1,000 vessels, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. "Are you ready?" Lyrelay asked, placing a gentle hand on Maya's shoulder. Maya nodded, though her heart was pounding. Over the past week, she had learned to use her enhanced abilities to communicate not just with the ethereal collective, but also with the other awakened bridges around Earth. Alex was with her on the flagship, along with 3 other humans who had been brought up from different parts of the world when their abilities suddenly activated. The plan was simple in concept, but incredibly difficult in execution. The 5 human bridges would link their consciousness together and then connect that combined awareness to both the ethereal collective and to every human on Earth. For the first time in history, humanity would speak with one voice, and that voice would formally request protection and alliance from a benevolent alien civilization. But first, they had to survive the initial attack. The Void Collective ships opened fire without any attempt at communication. Dark energy beams lanced out toward the ethereal fleet, and Maya watched in amazement as Lyrelay's people responded with weapons made of pure light. The battle that followed was unlike anything she could have imagined. The ethereal ships moved, like living things, flowing around the enemy attacks with grace and precision. Their weapons didn't seem designed to destroy, but rather to disable and neutralize. Maya realized they were trying to stop the invasion without unnecessary killing, even when facing an enemy that showed no such restraint. "Now," Lyrelay said, urgently, "while they're focused on the space battle, we must complete the bridge connection." Maya joined hands with Alex and the other bridges, feeling their individual consciousness merge into something larger and more powerful than any of them could achieve alone. Through this combined awareness, she reached out to touch the minds of every human on Earth. It was overwhelming at first. 7 billion different perspectives flooded through her consciousness. People sleeping, working, loving, struggling, dreaming. She felt the full spectrum of human experience, from a mother holding her newborn baby to an elderly man watching his last sunset. But gradually, a pattern emerged from the chaos. Despite all their differences, humans shared common hopes and fears. They all wanted safety for their loved ones, purpose in their lives, and a future worth living. These shared desires became the foundation of the message Maya and the other bridges crafted together. Speaking through the combined bridge network, Maya addressed both the ethereal collective and the void collective simultaneously. Her words carried the weight of an entire species' desperate hope. "We are humanity," she said, her voice somehow reaching across space itself. "We are young and imperfect, but we are learning and growing. We have made mistakes, but we strive to do better. We ask for protection, not because we are weak, but because we believe that life and consciousness are precious gifts that should be preserved and nurtured." The response from the ethereal collective was immediate and overwhelming. Maya felt the love and acceptance of thousands of ancient beings who had watched civilizations rise and fall across the galaxy. They formally accepted humanity's request for alliance, and their ships began to glow brighter as they prepared to unleash their full power. But something unexpected happened next. The message Maya had sent didn't just reach the two fleets in space. Somehow, it had also touched the minds of individual beings within the Void Collective ships. Maya realized with shock that the Void Collective wasn't entirely made up of machines or mindless drones. There were living creatures among them, beings who had been conquered and enslaved by the Collective's leaders, and her message of hope and freedom was awakening something in them that their captors had tried to destroy. One by one, ships began to break away from the Void Collective formation. These vessels stopped attacking and instead began sending signals of surrender and requests for asylum. The rebellion spread like wildfire through the enemy fleet as enslaved beings remembered what it meant to choose their own destiny. The battle turned from a fight for survival into a rescue mission. The ethereal collective ships moved to protect the defecting vessels while continuing to engage the remaining aggressive forces. Maya watched in amazement as nearly half the Void Collective fleet switched sides or simply fled the battle entirely. Chathetes, remaining hardcore Void Collective forces, realizing they had lost the advantage, began to retreat toward the outer solar system. But their departure wasn't peaceful. The enemy commanders, furious at their defeat, launched a final desperate attack directly at Earth itself. This was the moment Maya had been preparing for. Using the full power of the bridge network, she reached out to every enhanced human on the planet and asked them to lend their strength to Earth's defense. The response was immediate and powerful. A shimmering barrier of energy, visible even from space, formed around the entire planet. The Void Collective's final attack struck this barrier and simply dissolved, like rain hitting an umbrella. Earth was protected not just by alien technology, but by the combined will and determination of its own people. As the last enemy ships disappeared into deep space, Maya felt a profound sense of completion. She had found her purpose, saved her world, and helped humanity take its first step into a larger universe. But the most important moment came afterward, when she was alone with Lirelei on the observation deck, watching Earth turn slowly in space, below them. "What happens now?" Maya asked. Lirelei smiled and took her hand. "Now we begin the real work, helping humanity find its place among the stars, learning from each other, growing together into something neither of our peoples could become. Alone." Maya looked at the woman who had searched across galaxies to find her and felt a love deeper than anything she had ever imagined possible. And us? What happens to us? We have eternity to find out, Lyrelay said softly. If you want it. Maya thought about her old life at the research facility, her dreams of discovering alien life, and the lonely nights spent staring at stars that no longer seemed impossibly far away. Then she looked at Lyrelay and saw not just her destined partner, but her best friend, her greatest love, and her guide to wonders beyond imagination. I can't think of anything I want more, Maya said. As Earth's first ambassador to the galaxy, Maya would spend the coming years helping humanity understand its new place in the cosmic community. But in her heart, she knew the most important discovery had already been made. Sometimes the thing you're searching for your entire life isn't a place or a purpose, but a person whose soul calls to yours across the vast emptiness of space. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, that person comes looking for you too.